Hello and welcome to Chart of the Day Cafe for Thursday, May 4th, 2017. Just want to read our disclaimer quickly. Trading stocks is a high level of risk and viewers should complete their own due diligence on any stock or underlying that they intend to own. 100% of the content of this video and communique is intended for journalistic and educational purposes only. This video and all indicators, strategies, and articles herein should not be construed as investment advice, not making any recommendations. Always for your further. Hi everybody, Sue here from Chart of the Day Cafe. Hope you've had a great week so far. Another interesting one in the markets, that's for sure. But with that, let's get into today's video. We always start off with a look at the Russell Index. My thinking is I don't want to put any new charts forward for our watch list unless the market is moving higher. So we're only putting charts forward in a rising market environment, never a falling one. And so that's why we take a look at the Russell Index right off the bat. And for that, we use the IWM, which is the ETF that represents the Russell 2000. I use the Russell just to keep these videos short. I deem it to be the one index out there that might be the most rate sensitive. So we landed on the Russell Index, but if there's another index you think we should be taking a look at, drop me a line in the comment section, and for sure I will take a look at that one too. So we're looking at we always step back to take a look at the IWM on a 5-year monthly time frame. So this light blue line down here is our long-term area of support, but as you can see, we blew through it way back here, and now we're keeping an eye on this wedge pattern here. So I've got this orange line drawn of kind of weekly, monthly support, and this trend line up here indicating areas where the Russell started to experience a little bit of difficulty. You can see the wicks kind of came in, and we're in that area right here, right now. So we'll see. Having said that, the futures look to be getting off to a healthy start this morning, so perhaps we'll get a complementary candle that complements this one and adds a little bit of strength into the market. We will see. It's anyone's guess as to what happens. So here's the monthly look. So red candle so far. I'm going to move it away from the monthly to the 1-year weekly so you can take a look and see that on the weekly we also have a red candle shaping up. And so here's that same orange trend line, and here's the same black upper trend line here. And you can see on our black line where it did struggle in the past. These are weekly candles, keep in mind, right? And so last week, sure enough, we encountered that difficulty. And so looks like we've come in to kind of fill this gap a little bit, or trying to fill the gap. Red candle so far, so I'm going to move it away from the weekly to the daily because I want you to see we had a doji yesterday, indecision, equal wick at the top and the bottom. We're going to open higher, so perhaps this market will start to take another run at our black trend line. We'll see how the day resolves itself. But that's our look at the Russell. So with price on the Russell trading below the 8-day EMA, we use this blue line, which is the 8-day EMA, as our guide. We're not going to put any new fresh charts forward for our watch list, but I'm going to highlight 2 past picks that I think might be worth keeping an eye on here. And so those 2 past picks that I wanted to highlight for you here, the first one is Baxter International, which we featured on February 7th. We're looking at the 2-year weekly chart. We put it forward at this little green circle. You can see why, because it was coming into this area of prior resistance and it looked like it wanted to break higher. You can go back and take a look at the video in our video library, but it's had a really nice run since, and it's broken through this prior area of resistance up here, now support. Beautiful candle last week, and looks as though it may want to resume the trend higher from here. So this is the weekly. Let's take a look at the daily. And this is what I like to see, is this kind of a thing where it's consolidated for a number of days. It had a nice bullish looking candle yesterday. If it gets lift up and over this area here today, that would be interesting to me. And of course, regular viewers know that we do things with a 3 and 8 cross. So what we like to see is price overall up and over this blue 8-day EMA, the blue line, but we like to see the pink, which is the 3 EMA, cross up and over the blue. So we've already got the cross here on Baxter. We're just looking for follow through. So this is one I would keep an eye on. I'm going to go back to my plain study. I looked at the scores at this one this morning. Yeah, still has the value score I look for. Beautiful value score. It's got a forecasted earnings growth rate, these are updated to today, of 19% and a dividend yield of 0.93%. So we put it forward here. If you just followed that 8-day, you would have been out here, back in, out, back in, but wow, beautiful. The next one is RMP. We put this one, I forget the exact date. Let me go to the 2-year weekly so we can take a look. Green circle, yeah. So here's my little green circle sitting at this area of support. Now we're looking at the 2-year weekly chart. So I like to see things sitting in a nice tight range at support. So here's where we put it forward. It's had this lift, it's kind of meandering along here, but the volume's starting to come in. And I'm putting it forward to you today because this one has a really nice yield. And it looks as though it may want to break out of this range. So you see this range here that's kind of holding price in. Again, we're looking at the weekly chart. I'm going to move it towards the daily, where it's a little more wavy here on the daily. But what I will be looking for is a solid candle today. Perhaps we might get a red candle, but if we get a solid candle and it breaks up and over this prior area, that would be interesting on this one. We put it forward here, so that would have been around the middle of January, and it had this nice, it's just been meandering along, but I like this one. It still has a really nice high value score. The current forecasted earnings growth rate is 23%, checked that this morning, and the yield on this one is 4.07%. Again, you can go back and take a look at our video library, look for RMP, and watch the video as to why we put it forward back then. With that, I'll leave you. Have a great weekend. We'll put another video out on Tuesday. If you have any comments or anything, please leave them in the comment section on our YouTube channel.